Hello, everyone. Welcome to Energy Medicine for Healthy Living. I'm Dr. Melanie of Well Within Natural Medicine, and today's quick tip is about the wood element. You see, in traditional Chinese medicine, we have the laws of the five elements or the five rhythms. They're water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. And these elements or rhythms are based on the relationships between the elements. In nature, there also are life force or our chi that flows through them, but they have so many relationships and things that they govern. Every element is associated with a particular organ in the body, a meridian, a color, flavor, senses, emotions, seasons. They're an entire body of work, and it's an entire way of treating and balancing energies. And we all have a unique fusion of these elements. We have all five of them. And when you begin to study them more deeply, you can begin to understand how they impact our health and our wellness, and also how we go through our life, how we go through our daily life. We typically have a dominant rhythm, and then we may have a combination of one or two secondary elements that are also present. I'm a primary wood and a secondary metal and earth. And each of these rhythms has its own strengths. They have their potential weaknesses. They can manifest when a person gets out of balance. So we're going to explore the wood element as it's related to the season of spring. And we have ventured into springtime. And springtime, it's about new growth. It's that budding energy. It's excitement. It's coming to life after being more dormant in the wintertime. And it's that support for moving forward, for bringing things into new life, new energy, new season and cycle. So wood element people, they can tend to be assertive. They can stand their own ground. Generally, they're very determined and they get things done. You need some woods around if you want to get some things done. They're also usually quite confident, very decisive, and they can also be competitive. So often leaders of companies or leaders of our armed forces, our armed services, will tend to be a primary wood element. They know what needs to be done. They know how to gather everything, bring the forces together, so to speak, to make that happen and to move it forward. And organizations want woods to, they're leaders. They want woods to be, leading their company into the next generation of new products, new ideas, new target markets. So woods also, they're really open to trying new things. So growth and expanding their knowledge and trying new things in their life. And they'll tend to be really independent, organized. They like structure. They function best with structure. And woods also respond to injustices, and they will work diligently to make the world a better place. So whatever kind of injustices are going on around them, they will be quick to pick up a cause to help support. While woods can be generous, they're very dependable, they're extremely kind and even inspirational. They can also be very honest and truthful, and sometimes it's really almost to a fault of their level of honesty. And what happens is when any of these qualities begin to get out of balance, then someone with a primary wood energy can become really domineering and controlling. They can become arrogant and even inflexible, like they're standing their ground, they're solid in their choices and their decisions, and they're not budging. That's a strong wood that is typically at an imbalanced place. We want woods to be more flexible like bamboo versus just solid, dug in, rooted like a big oak tree. And when in a state of stress, a wood person will typically become annoyed. And then if things aren't resolved, they'll become more irritated. They may start to become very impatient with people or situations. And then that can lead to frustration, and everything elevates from there. It can move into anger. They can even become rageful. That's the full out of balance spectrum as we move into that yang gallbladder energy. Archetypes for wood are, as I mentioned, they're like the commander, but also they're the warrior. They're also the pioneer, blazing new trails. There are colors associated with each element. In the case of wood, it's green. Any shade of green will help balance and support wood or bring more wood energy in if someone's needing that. And there are flavors associated with each element. The flavor for wood is sour flavors, so they will tend to really gravitate for food toward foods that are sour in nature. Now, liver and gallbladder are both organs and meridians in the body. And those two, liver and gallbladder, together, they're yin-yang partners. Liver's the yin, gallbladder's the yang. Together, those two meridian and organ partners make up the element of wood. And wood energy governs a lot of different things in your body. So tendons and ligaments, eyes, it's a primary thing that governs the energy and health of your eyes and your vision. Nails, your fingernails, your toenails are governed by that wood energy. It's also the development phase for wood is birth. It's that beginning stage. Its associated time is in the future. So we're going to birth and move into that future, carry that vision forward. Woods are about control and strength. And one of their greatest faults really is they can be insensitive. Like they're so focused that they're just not sensitive to other people's feelings, emotions, or what's going on around them. As we enter into spring, we want to make sure that these organs of liver and gallbladder are stable and they can really support us during this time of year. It's high time of year. And we want all the elements to be balanced and supported all through the year, but every element has a high time, a high season. So wood also, other indications, common signs of an imbalance in wood, in addition to the emotions and the eyes issues I mentioned, hormonal imbalances. A lot of hormonal imbalances are about wood imbalance, especially liver is a big culprit of that. Headaches, some headaches can be about wood imbalances. Joint pain, wood governs joints in the body. So any joint, fingers, elbows, knees, if you're having some joint pain, that could be an imbalance in your wood rhythm. When we learn about the rhythm of wood, it's about stepping into a place of action, and we can draw on that place of action and tap into like this inner strength or inner conviction and to get things done, to bring things to a place of balance. I mentioned the meridians and organs are liver and gallbladder, and every meridian and organ has a high time of day. Gallbladder's high time is 11 p.m. in the evening to 1 a.m. in the early morning. The liver energy's high time is 1 to 3 a.m. So in the middle of the night, it's important, so important that we're getting to bed and asleep, preferably by 11 p.m. Once we go past 11 p.m., gallbladder, liver kick in. They're trying to help support a whole variation of hormone balances, regulating digestive components. They're hard at work doing a lot of things, helping us to detox, prepare and move through our digestive cycle to prepare for elimination in the early morning. Very, very busy. So if we're staying up late at night, we're exhausting our adrenals and we're beginning to bring imbalance to gallbladder and liver. So let's learn some energy medicine self-care exercises to bring your wood element to balance and allow them to blossom in springtime. One of the most common things with that element is stress. So when we're stressed, blood leaves our forebrain, we can't think clearly, and we begin to go into all sorts of stages of emotional imbalances. So there's an elemental rhythm or elemental neurovascular that we can hold for wood. And the easy thing is to take your thumbs, put it in your temples, and just take your pads of your fingers over the forehead. Now, that point on the forehead actually happens to be on the gallbladder meridian line, and the gallbladder meridian begins at the outside of the eye, goes to the ear, goes through this temple area. So we're now connecting in, and think about what the stressor is. Maybe it's anger for you, frustration, it could even be rage. And we're just going to focus on your breath as you bring that stressor to mind, and we're going to breathe it out. So take a pause, tune into that stressor, that emotion, and see if you brought it back down, a couple of notches. If you feel like you need to go back and balance it a bit more, you can keep doing that, no problem, and keep breathing. So that's how to balance both liver and gallbladder and the wood element collectively. If we want to balance liver neurovascular, at the hairline from the midline, we just go out slightly. Hold both of your middle fingers over the liver neurovascular point, and again, breathe. So if this is irritation, frustration, irritability, anger, resentment, just hold here and breathe. Again, tuning into your stressor, giving it time to register, 10 to 0, how high is it? And allow your breath to take it away. And again, you can stay with this as long as you need to. You can go back to it as often as you need to. So there's another neurovascular point. Neurovasculars are gateways to reduce stress in our body and to bring blood back to the brain and to allow everything to function. And on the top of the head, right above the top of the ears, is a gateway to the pineal gland, and it is a neurovascular gateway to several meridians, but especially liver and gallbladder. So you can just hold a finger or both middle fingers, if you like, at the top of the head in the center on the midline. Very easy to do. Again, bring your stressor to mind and breathe. You can stay with it as long as you like. Go back to it as often as you want. Gallbladder, there's another neurovascular for gallbladder. It's right below your clavicle bone on each side. There's a hollow space. It's actually a point on the kidney meridian, but it's a gallbladder neurovascular. I can massage it, I can hold it, I can tap it. And if any point or muscle or area is ever tender, that's an indication that energy is stuck there, congested, and holding and massaging gently and lightly will begin to move that energy through. And that's exactly what we want to do here. So that one is very easy to do. And I'm feeling a little tenderness there for myself. So I'm going to come back to that a little later and spend more time. Another great one for gallbladder is behind each knee. If you take the flat hand, bring it behind your knee and just place it so the thumb's on the outside at the midline of the knee, the bend of the knee, and the hand is just resting behind the knee. And I suggest doing this laying down or seated, where you can do both sides at the same time as you begin to focus on what is that stressor that you're bringing to mind. So gallbladder neurovasculars behind each knee. And again, just focus and breathe and allow yourself to come back to a place of center and less stress. Now, as I mentioned, if you find tenderness, we have neurolymphatic reflexes in the body, and that's where we can move energy that's stuck or congested. It's where we can move lymph in the body, great to detox. It's also really helpful to reset energies for a meridian or an organ. So in the case of liver, it's right below the right breast in like a crescent moon shape here, along the lower edge of the bra line. If it's a woman wearing a bra, for men, just come down below the right breast area. Massage. This one's going to have a little pressure to it. And I'm going to give it a little vigor here as I move and talk to liver lymphatic. And again, if it's tender, tells me I really need to be doing this so I can come back to it and keep working it in baby steps, little increments. So it's not, I'm not bruising it or overdoing it. Gallbladder lymphatics are located between the breast on each side of the sternum. The sternum's this bone in the middle. And it's the lower ribs. The upper ribs between those are the lung lymphatics. And as you get more about midway and we start massaging between those ribs, again, find those tender spots. These will tend to be very tender. And massage with a little bit of pressure to talk to those gallbladder neurolymphatics. So we've done elemental neurovascular, we've done individual neurovasculars, we've done neurolymphatics for the elements of wood to support liver and gallbladder. So I'm going to show you, talk to you also about a muscle. Muscles are governed by organs and meridians as well. And when they're tender, that can be an indicator to tell us that we need to move some stuck energy. So this big muscle here in the front, pectoralis major sternal, is along this edge, and I can just come into this big muscle, the pec muscle, and massage and move along here and find a tender spot. If there's a tender spot, I'm going to come in and again, a little bit of pressure, hold, massage, move it along. And we do have a pectoralis major muscle on both sides, and it's primarily this edge that's connecting to the sternum. But I'm going to suggest do the entire muscle here. The whole muscle is supported by liver. So that's for liver. If you come to the arm, the front edge cap here over the shoulder right here is anterior deltoid. That's what allows us to raise the arm up. So this is the anterior deltoid, and it's governed by gallbladder. So come in and massage that along the front of your arm. And I like to use my fingertips, give a little jolt here, and rub and massage. There we go. Another tender spot over there. And same thing on the front of this arm. Coming in with the little jolt and massage. And so that's gallbladder. Anterior deltoid is gallbladder. Another great way to talk directly to at an organ level and talking to the meridian is going to the source point. Every meridian has a source point, has more energy in it than any other point on the meridian, and it talks to the organ. Let's look at the liver source point. Liver 3 is going to be on your toe, on the top of the foot, between the big toe and the next toe. If you come up between those two, there's a V shape here with the bones, and right in that hollow space of the V is liver 3. That's the source point for liver. And if you have a particular organ-related issue with the liver, difficulty detoxing, cirrhosis of the liver, methylation pathway issues, alcoholism, anything that's impacting the liver, massage liver 3. And it's on both sides of the body. Meridians are on both sides of the body. So between the big toe and the next toe, come in and massage liver 3. Again, if it's tender, want to spend a little extra time there. Now, gallbladder also has a source point. It's on the outside by the outside ankle. Between the 4th and 5th toe, if you come up next to the front of the ankle, when you flex your foot, bring your toes up, there's a hollow space right there. That is gallbladder 40. So massaging that, tapping it, holding it, will start to talk directly to the gallbladder organ. And gallbladder is about emulsifying fats. It has a number of things that it's doing. It's communicating with liver. And again, if it's tender, usually means there's some stuck energy or some kind of imbalance. And it's on both sides, gallbladder 40 right here, in front of the ankle bone in the hollow space. All right, so that's the source point on the meridian. And when you do liver and gallbladder together, then you're talking to the element. So actually, let me show you how to do that. If I want to talk to the wood element and combine the two, I can go in and do liver 3 and gallbladder 40 on the same side at the same time. So now we're balancing wood as an element as we're talking to its two meridians. And we'll do this side too. Gallbladder 40, liver 3, massaging both places, feeling those tender spots. All right. Now, one of liver's jobs, as I said, is to promote the free flow of qi. So we need to keep energy moving in the body, and pick one or two of those and see how it works for you, and then try something else. You don't need to do all of them at once, and you'll pick and choose different ones for different times. So pay attention to that. See what seems to work at one time might be different another time. All right, so that's a few ways to get started to bring your wood to balance, to have a better, healthier, happier springtime. Thank you all for joining me, and be well within.